We start with that huge breaking news from the Vegas Golden Knights this morning.
Yeah, Dave Hall has a look at the firing of Coach Gerard Gallant. Dave, you're probably as surprised as we are.
We are. When we first heard, somebody yelled out, "Holy crap, they just fired Gallant." The entire newsroom went crazy, as I'm sure everybody is at home. Just an absolute bombshell from the Knights this morning. Head coach Gerard Gallant has been fired. GM Kelley made the announcement about 30 minutes ago. Assistant coach Mike Kelley is out too. So at 9:30 this morning, McCrimmon is making himself available to the media, but he is with the team in Ottawa. So unfortunately, nobody here locally is going to be able to discuss with him. I guess they can maybe call him, but no one can be there at that press conference. Now, the new coach is going to get your attention as well, because it's the former coach of the Sharks, the biggest rival of the Golden Knights. Peter DeBoer is the new coach of the Knights. In a statement, McCrimmon says, in order for the team to reach its full potential, a coaching change needed to be made. Now, keep in mind, Gallant will be coaching in the NHL All-Star game in a few weeks, so that's going to be awkward. The team has been very inconsistent this season, currently looking really quite bad, very lethargic in a current four-game losing streak. Hard to believe it was less than 2 seasons ago Gallant led the Knights to a miracle run to the Stanley Cup Finals, and now he is out of a job. So DeBoer will be with the team for their next game, which will be Thursday night in Ottawa. Now, keep in mind, the Sharks fired him back in December because that team also got off to a slow start. It was his Sharks that knocked the Knights out of the playoffs last season. He did lead the Sharks to the Stanley Cup Finals back in 2016. As you can imagine, people are already commenting on this. We posted this on some of our digital channels. One of the comments was, this is the worst history in the decision of sports, but I don't want to speculate. And another person, Diana, saying, please tell me this is an early April Fool's joke. We've got about 2 pages of comments, and not too many people seem to be too pleased with this decision by the Golden Knights to fire head coach Gerard Gallant. He really was a beloved figure here in the city for what he and his team did that first season here in Las Vegas. So again, I think all of us are just trying to process what happened, why it happened, and what really led to this, because granted, the Golden Knights are not playing well right now, but it was just a week ago they were on a nice winning streak in first place in the Pacific Division.
Right.
You know, teams have, losing streaks. Even good teams have losing streaks. So it makes you wonder if there's something else going on that we don't know about.
Well, there might be, Dave, because if you look back at his record with the Florida Panthers, and by the way, he got fired in his 3rd year with the Florida Panthers, just like he's getting fired in the 3rd year with the Golden Knights. Wow. They were 96, 65, and 25. That is well above a winning record. So now he's been fired from 2 teams with a way above 500 record.
But his record here even better than that one.
Yeah, it was even better.
And what's also notable, Dave, is the year he was fired from the Florida Panthers, he was nominated for the Jack Adams Award as the NHL's Coach of the Year. So, I mean, this is just something that just seems mind-boggling for a lot of us outsiders. It just seems like a ruthless business.
And I think it's mind-boggling on 2 levels, that the fact they fired him and then hired Peter DeBoer, who, as you guys probably know, people in San Jose were not sad to see him go as well. So I think a lot of people are just as upset about the hiring of him as the firing of Gerard Gallant.
Yeah, well, he'll be wearing a Golden Knights gear now. Dave, we'll
our guy now.
Back in with you because there is much more to follow on this, a lot more to be said about this. But we are on the phone with Fox 5 sports reporter Vince Sapienza right now, who's, Vince, this is just wild.
Yeah, good morning, guys. This is not at all what I thought I'd be waking up to on this fine morning. This is as shocking a move, not just in the Golden Knights franchise's short history. This is as shocking a move as the NHL's seen in years. I mean, head coach Gerard Gallant, as Dave mentioned, has been the all-star coach for 2 out of 3 years he's been with the Golden Knights. He won the Jack Adams Award in year 1. He got his team home ice in the Stanley Cup final not even 2 years ago. This is as big a shakeup as you could possibly get, but I think it says a lot when the coach is told he is fired this morning, which is my understanding is Gallant was told this morning, and not even in the same press release, Pete DeBoer is hired as head coach. So Kelley McCrimmon, George McPhee has obviously had their eye on this move for quite some time. This is not a knee-jerk reaction. This is something this is something they've seen for quite a while, and they decided to pull the trigger in somewhat shocking fashion this morning. But if you look at it, the timing kind of makes sense with the bye week coming up and the All-Star break coming up. The Golden Knights will get some time off. Pete DeBoer will get some time to kind of figure out where he's living, what he's doing, City National Arena, T-Mobile Arena, all that stuff.
And Vince, what does this mean? Because this is happening mid-season. What does this mean for our team for the rest of the games? I mean, I know they're obviously hoping that there's a winning change to come, but doesn't this kind of throw a wrench into the team?
The game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'll say to that, I'll try and spin it in as more a positive way as possible. This is the upper management saying that they believe this team is a winner. Unfortunately, Gerard Gallant is not the one to push them over that finish line. They believe Pete DeBoer has the experience. He's reached the Stanley Cup final twice. He did it once with New Jersey back in 2011, 2012, and again with San Jose in 2015, 2016. Again, trying to wrap your head around a guy who got fired on your rival back in December, and all of a sudden he's now your guy that's going to take you to the promised land. I am very curious what Kelley McCrimmon is going to say at that presser in Ottawa later this afternoon in about a little less than 2 hours. But guys, if you're a Golden Knights fan and you're waking up, the only reaction you can have right now is shocked and at a loss for words, because look, the Golden Knights haven't been playing well. Everybody knows that. Even the eye test shows it. Even when they were winning games, they weren't really winning in a way that you felt good about their game. They put together that 4-game winning streak to start their homestand. Everything looked good, especially that St. Louis win, that 5-4 comeback win in overtime. Everything looks good, and then you put a clunker against Pittsburgh. Okay, not a big deal. You need a response, though, against the Kings, who are dead last in the Western Conference, your Pacific Division rival, an easy game to get up for, and all of a sudden you give up the first 3 goals in that game. You end up losing 5-2. Okay, 2 bad stinkers in a row. Then you go to the Columbus game, the final game of the homestand, a game Derek England called a must-win for their team, and you give up the first 3 goals and got shut out.
Shut out, yeah.
It's not so much that Gerard Gallant just forgot how to coach. He's clearly a great coach, and as you mentioned, the year he was canned in Florida, he was a Jack Adams Award winner.
Yeah, something else is happening with him.
Coach. It's simply a motivation at this point. We are in the home stretch of the season, and Kelley McCrimmon doesn't care that if it's season 3, if this is an expansion team. He thinks this team is good enough to win it all. And when you look at the roster and you stack it up against anybody else in the West, they have as good a chance and as good talent as anybody else.
All right, Vince, thank you.